How's it going out there, YouTubers? Cyberneticshark here with another new movie review for you. So let's go right into this review and see what I saw. So welcome to another awesome movie review, folks out there in YouTube land. So this amazing review is a subscriber requested review of a film that came out back in 2011. Was actually made in 2010, was at a film festival in 2010, but didn't officially get released in the United States, or for the viewing public until 2011. Now, this film, like I said, was asked by a subscriber to be reviewed, and that happens to be a movie called The Ward. Oh yeah. So The Ward is a psychological supernatural thriller type of film, which really borders more on the psychological thriller aspect of the film, actually, versus the actual supernatural feel to the film. Now, this film was so beautifully directed by an awesome director that has directed many films over the years. Now, the director that I'm talking about, you might recognize as the director of such great films as the 1978 Halloween film. You might recognize him as the director of a little film that came out in 2001 that had to do with Mars and had Ice Cube involved in the film, and was just an interesting, kind of alien sci-fi action type of flick called, you guessed it, you know what I'm talking about? The Ghost of Mars. Or a great film that came out in the late 90s called John Carpenter's Vampires. So if you don't know who I'm talking about yet, that of course is the awesome director, Mr. John Carpenter. Now, John Carpenter directed this awesome film, which I actually ended up really enjoying. And John Carpenter, like I said, has directed Halloween, Ghost of Mars, John Carpenter's Vampires. He's directed a slew of films over the years. Now, a couple of films I really enjoyed that he's directed are none other than a great film from 1982. Now, this awesome film got released in October of that year, of 1982, and was actually a pretty big success and a great remake of a film, of an already 1950s sci-fi horror film. Now, that, of course, is the awesome film starring the great Kurt Russell, The Thing. Oh, yeah. So, John Carpenter's The Thing. This movie is probably one of the best remakes of a horror film franchise I've ever seen. I just was so blown away with all the great actors they got to be a part of the film, and just how John took it to a whole new level and gave us this great new aspect and image of what the Thing could have been back in the 50s. The Thing has been kind of a part of horror mythology or horror movies over many, many decades and years. But this particular, string of, the Thing films, they actually ended up making a prequel film in the 2010s that actually was really good too. But John really set the tone for how amazing this film franchise could be. And he just brought, like I said, a great cast, great special effects for its time, and just a great story. I absolutely love this film. I think it's one of the best horror films out there, and I can't get enough of watching it because it's just such a great film. Really awesome film. If you haven't seen The Thing, definitely check it out, people. It's worth the watch, especially if you're a big John Carpenter fan. Totally worth checking out, and definitely to add to your collection. Now, the other film I really love that John Carpenter directed is another awesome Kurt Russell-led film that is just a awesome action-packed kind of comedy film that centers around really awesome Asian mythology, I feel, because there's a lot of Asian mythology in this film, especially because of the characters that it references and talks about kind of like Chinese deities and stuff like that. And I just think that was a really cool aspect about this film as well, because this kind of stuff kind of really intrigues me, because I really enjoy Asian mythology and stuff like that, and their back history and stuff in it is really fun to read and watch about. And so this film kind of is that same way to me, and I just think it's a fun film that had great action, great comedy, and just really well directed by John. And that, of course, is the film called Big Trouble in Little China. Oh yeah! So if you haven't seen Big Trouble in China, oh my gosh, finish this review, go watch it, people. This movie is amazing. It's such an amazing film, one of Kurt Russell's best. Him and Everyone that's involved in the film is just so stinking hilarious and awesome. Great action sequences, lots of great comedy, great special effects for for the 80s, and just a really fun John Carpenter ride. And it has all those same kind of like John Carpenter isms to the film, that he pretty much puts in all of his movies. And he just did a really great job with this film. Really fun, really action-packed, and just a really great ride, like I said. If you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. It's worth a watch, a great film, and just really fun. So when it comes to directing The War, John Carpenter, I thought, did a really great job. I mean, it had been 10 years since he had put out a film, since The Ghost of Mars. And this was a really great comeback, and you could really tell that he was really reinvigorated to get back into filming. And this film was just a really well done psychological type of thriller film. And he directed it so beautifully because from the beginning to the end, you have no idea what really is going on until the very end. And I thought that he did a really fantastic job with that and giving us this really great image, a really great storyline that you really need to pay attention to understand, and give us these really great moments of like a very horror-like film. It's almost like going and watching the original Halloween again, because that's what he did with that film, where he gave us the great suspense and gave us the great scenes with great gore and action sequences where people get murdered and blah blah blah, all that fun stuff, that why we are entertained by the film. And he did the same exact thing with this. He gave us great scenes of great horrific things going on, but at the same time gave us a really well balanced story that he had a very good beginning, a very good middle, and a very good end to. And he just did a really great job. I was really actually impressed with this film, and I'm very glad that it was recommended for me to check it out and do a review on. Really well directed by John, and I hope he ends up directing something else soon, because it's been almost another 10 years since he's directed something. So hopefully we'll get to see something else from him soon. Such a great director and just a great guy, too. So this movie actually had a really diverse cast, and I was really surprised by all the big names that were actually in this film. And I had never heard of it until, or actually, I had heard of it, I had seen the cover, I had looked it up a little bit, but never really, put the effort in to actually go to watch it. And then I was, asked to do a review on this, and I was surprised at all the actual big names that were in this film. Because when I first just looked at it and stuff, I just noticed who was on the front cover and read a little bit of supposed, but never really looked at who else was in the film. But this movie has a really powerhouse, a bunch of actresses in this film, along with an actor that are just really great at their craft and really showed it in this film. Now, to start off this awesome cast, we have none other than the lead actress herself in the film. Somebody that I really don't care too much for as an actress. I don't think she's that great. I'm not a big fan of her. I feel there's been a couple films that I've been able to enjoy that she was in, that she wasn't too much of a killjoy for me to watch the film. But other than that, I think that she's an overrated actress, but at the same time, she wasn't too bad in this film. And that, of course, is Miss Amber Heard. Now, Amber Heard you might recognize from the big, giant mess that she's been in for the last couple of years, getting divorced from Johnny Depp and all the supposed allegations. You might recognize her from a few other films. A lot of them where she's been naked and blah, 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 etc., etc. And she is, like I said, I think she's a very overrated actress, and she's okay in some films. Now, a couple films that I've been able to tolerate her in, or ones that I thought she was okay in, were none other than the awesome film that just came out at the end of last year. Now, this awesome film stars the great Jason Momoa, and it's just a really fun film. And that, of course, is the awesome film, Aquaman. Oh, yeah! Aquaman, which I got to see 3 times in theaters before it came out on Blu-ray and DVD. Oh my god. This movie is so freaking amazing. You probably, if you've seen my Aquaman review, you know how much I love this movie. And I was really disappointed when I first found out that she was cast in the film as this main kind of love interest of Jason Momoa's character Aquaman. But at the same time, like I said, I was able to handle her because she wasn't in it that much. And so I was kind of glad about that. And that even her scenes that were in the film were okay, because Jason Momoa stole the glory and was really kind of the epitome of the scene. And I thought that she was, like I said, tolerable and okay in the film, but definitely everyone around her is what really made the scenes pop and gave her some life. And she did, like I said, did an okay job, was all right, and I feel that she could have done better in the film. Definitely a great movie to check out. Definitely go see it. It's and pick it up on Blu-ray or DVD, 4K. It's a great film, really fun, and worth every moment and minute of it, because it was a really great DC adventure too as well. One of DC's, I'd say, top ones besides Shazam, I feel. Shazam was just as good, or even a little better. I really loved Shazam too, and just a really great outing for DC. The second movie that she was in that I, thought she was okay in, that I could stand her in, was an awesome film that Nicolas Cage did a couple years ago, that I think is just a really great kind of like supernatural action flick that was just a really fun ride. And that, of course, is the film called Drive Angry. Oh yeah. This is just a really fantastic film. I thought it was really well done. I liked the whole aspect of it. I liked the whole idea of, that he's from hell. He's basically back on Earth to try to make justice and stuff like that. Kind of almost like the Ghost Rider, etc., etc. And it just is a fun visual effects film, too. And Amber Heard actually plays kind of the lead actress in the film, along with Nicolas Cage. And once again, another role where it was really the main actor himself that really, took her to new heights for the film role. And that, her performance was mediocre, but at the same time, because of it having such a powerhouse of other actors throughout the film, that kind of foreshadowed her character and given her a boost to make her look not as mediocre. And that's how I felt her portrayal in this film was as well. And that it was, more tolerable and more, interesting of a role, kind of giving her a little bit more of a different aspect of her supposed acting abilities and so forth. But at the same time, I just think that, once again, like I said, I feel she's overrated, and I feel that a lot of these lead roles that she's gotten, she really wasn't good at, unfortunately. And once again, like I was saying, I feel that the overshadowing of the better acting in the film really helped boost her character in the film. So it made it more tolerable to check her out in this film. But if you haven't seen Drive Angry, definitely check it out. It's a fun film, and just really fun and really cool special effects as well. Really enjoyed the film, and very fun and very interesting. But her overall performance in The Ward, I thought was pretty decent. I thought that she definitely wasn't the best of the actresses in the film, but definitely she did a decent job and kept me somewhat entertained while watching the film. Like I said, I keep saying this, I keep harping on it. She's mediocre, she's overrated, but at the same time, this movie was another one that I could tolerate her in and thought that she wasn't too bad, and because of all the other powerhouse actresses that were in the film. And I thought that she worked pretty decent with them and was a pretty decent lead in the film. And just the movie and all was a great, decent film. So that all encompasses made it more tolerable to check her out in this film. If you're an Amber Heard fan yourself, you should definitely check this out. You'll enjoy it. She was pretty decent for those who really enjoy her in the film. So next up on this awesome roster of actresses in this film is none other than a great actress that I feel hasn't done a lot of movies. I wish she would do more because she's pretty decent, she's pretty fun, and her mother is one of the most Oscar-nominated actresses of all time. And, I feel that she has the same potential of being a great actress as her mom. And that, of course, is Miss Mammy Gummer, a.k.a. Mammy Street. Oh, yeah. Meryl Streep's daughter. Anyway, so Mammy Gummer is in this film, and I think that she's a pretty decent actress. And I really think that she has great talent to be just as good as her mom, like I was saying. But a couple of films that I've seen her in and thought that she was pretty decent in and showed her acting chops. The first one I'm going to be talking about is one that came out in the later 2010s that was a musical comedy rom-com kind of film that Meryl Streep starred in along with her daughter, and the film is called Ricky and the Flash. Oh yeah. This movie actually was pretty decent. It was pretty fun. It was interesting. But I thought Mammy was so amazing in that film. I loved her chemistry with her mom. I loved how she played on that. I love how their real life, love for each other really showed through in the film. And I also thought that just Mammy did a great job of portraying like a daughter that was like hurt by her mother being gone all the time. And I thought that she did a really great job of that and showed that she has great, Oscar ability like her mom, and really showed, a great amount of emotion and a lot of great, just performance-wise. She did a really amazing job in the film, and I really enjoyed her. Definitely worth the watch for Mammy. She was really decent in it. And of course, Meryl Streep was awesome in it. And also, who else was in the film that I think was hilarious that was in the film? Rick Springfield was in the film. And he was fun to watch, too. That was really interesting. If you haven't seen Rick and Flash, definitely give it a try, people. It's worth the watch. The second film that Mammy Gummer was in that was a decent movie. It wasn't too bad. It was interesting. I wouldn't own it. I didn't think it was that great, but I definitely thought it was an interesting movie, and I'm glad I said that I could say that I've seen it. And that, of course, is the film called Taking Woodstock. Oh, yeah. So Taking Woodstock is basically almost kind of like about this guy basically wants to bring back Woodstock. And it's kind of like a comedy farce, a rom-com dramedy type of film, and Mammy Gummer has a part in the film that was pretty decent and pretty fun. I really enjoyed it. I thought that she brought a lot of great development to the character. I also thought that she was a really great addition to the film, and that she really brought a great sense to the character as well. A decent role, definitely interesting, and definitely a great job that I felt that Mammy did. Now, when it comes to an award, I absolutely loved her in this film. I thought she was so fantastic. I loved her character. I loved where she took her. I just loved the whole aspect and relationship she had with each of the girls throughout the film. And I just thought that she really showed, once again, that great Oscar ability that she could have if she keeps doing a lot of great acting like she is. And this film, I feel, is like an underrated role of hers that she should get a lot more recognition for, because she was just so fantastic in it. Really enjoyed her performance in it. Thought she was really amazing, and just a really fun role too as well. Definitely, if you're a Mammy Gummer fan, definitely check this film out for her performance. It was really awesome. Next up on this awesome actress roster in this film is none other than an awesome actress that I absolutely have been in love with since I first saw her in the first movie I ever saw her in. I absolutely think she's gorgeous. I think she's just fun to watch. You can catch her in CW's The Flash as a main character in the awesome series. And she's been in quite a few movies over the years. She has a sister that is a actress too as well. And she's just really fun, and I always enjoy watching her and things. And that, of course, is Miss Danielle Panabaker. Oh, yeah. Danielle Panabaker. Yeah. Anyway, so Danielle plays a main character in the CW Flash show. That absolutely you fall in love with the character. She is awesome in the show. She works so well with everyone. She's been in a slew of films over the years, like I said, and she's done little parts in films. She's done major performances in films and so forth. But a couple of films I really enjoyed her in and think she's fantastic in was none other than the very first film I saw her in that came out back in 2005. And that had Kurt Russell, Kelly Preston, Michael Arangio. It had this huge cast of people. Bruce Campbell. It was just so beautifully directed and just such a fun Disney film. And that, of course, is the film called Sky High. Oh, yeah. This movie, I absolutely love this movie. I think it's one of the best films ever. I absolutely fell in love with this film when I saw it in the theaters. I laughed my butt off. Everyone that was involved in the film was so funny. Really fun film. And Danielle Panabaker's character in the film was just so awesome. I love that she plays kind of the love interest, kind of the main other actress alongside Michael Arangino. And I think that she was just so fun in it. I loved her character. You fall in love with her. You just think she's fun and hilarious. She's very, prim and proper a little bit at the same time as being kind of like, I don't give myself too much attention, but I have a lot of great power to me. And she just was so fun in that film and so funny and great. Just really enjoyed her character and performance in that film. Really fun film. If you haven't seen Sky High, definitely check it out, people. It's a really fun ride and a great film. Now, the other film that I really enjoyed Danielle Panabaker in is an awesome remake to an awesome 1970s horror film that was actually very well crafted, really well done, made it seem like a really bad B movie, but at the same time, I thought that made it a great film. And this film was so beautifully directed by Alexandre Audra, and I thought that he did a great job of remaking this awesome Roger Corman classic. And that, of course, is the awesome film that came out in 2010, Piranha 3D. Oh yeah. So this is a remake of the 1978 classic that, they took it to a whole new extreme. They added a lot more stuff to it. They gave it a lot more of a gore factor, and, a lot more digitalization was available to be able to do this film. But Danielle Panabaker plays one of the main actors in the film, and I thought that she was so fantastic in it. I really loved her main character. I really enjoyed her performance, and I just thought she was a great addition to this film. And that she really brought a great kind of like heroine aspect to the film and just made it really fun and awesome. Now, this role I also feel that really showed that she has some acting chops too as well, because she kind of brought a interesting aspect to the role too at the same time that was really fun, really interesting, and just, gave us a whole new kind of like different look at her as being just that like hometown girl that's kind and sweet. She actually has like this really bad, bitter past that happened to her, and she's dealing with that while having to try to stop this piranha outbreak, basically. And I think that was a great aspect to the character, and I thought that Danielle did a really amazing job with that. Really fun role. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It's worth a watch. Really fun film. And just a really interesting film, too, as well, that I think was really well done and really fun to watch. And Danielle was really awesome in it. Now, it comes to her role in The Ward. I thought she was really fun. I really liked her character. I love how she took the character. She was very kind of sarcastic along with narcissistic type of attitude in the film. And I thought that was a really a new way of seeing her play a character, because I hadn't seen that before by her. And I thought it was a really interesting, different role for her. And I just thought it was a really fun character. And just a really great addition to the film, and she worked really well and meshed really well with all the other characters in the film. Really great performance by Danielle, and I always enjoy watching her in The Flash and other things, and I'm looking forward to more from her as time goes on. So to round out this awesome cast, we have none other than an awesome actor that I think is a really great actor. I always enjoy everything he's in, and just think he's a really fun actor. Now, he is the son of the late, great Richard Harris, and I feel that he always plays great villain characters, and he does that a lot, and I think he's so good at it, and really shows how much his dad gave great acting talent to him. And that, of course, is Mr. Jared Harris. Oh, yeah. So Jared Harris, you might recognize from a few films over the years. You might recognize him from some TV shows. You might recognize him from commercials and so forth. But a couple of films I really enjoyed him in and thought he was fantastic in. The first one I would be talking about is an awesome film that came out in the early 2000s that stars Adam Sandler. Now, his role isn't super huge in the film, but still was so freaking funny, and I absolutely loved him as this character in the film. Now, that film I'm talking about happens to be the awesome film called Mr. Deeds. Oh, yeah. So in Mr. Deeds, Jared plays the boss of Winona Ryder's character in the film. And he's absolutely hilarious. I love his character. I think he's so freaking funny. And I love just some of the lines and jabs that he does throughout the film. And I just think that he plays such a great kind of like asshole bad guy character in the film. And he just really portrayed the role so awesomely. And just was really fun to film. I really enjoyed his characterization of that character, and I thought he just was so fantastic. I thought he worked really well with Winona Ryder and Adam Sandler in the film, and I think that he just brought a great character to the film and gave us this really great performance. Now, the second film I really enjoyed him in and thought he was fantastic in. This one, he plays the main evil bad guy, and is a running bad guy character in pretty much all of these types of films that these two movies are based off of. Now, the one I'll be actually talk about is the second film in the newer series that Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law portray the characters of these awesome Conan Arthur Doyle characters. Now, that happens to be the awesome film directed by Guy Ritchie called Sherlock Holmes: Game of Shadows. Oh, yeah. So in this film, Jared plays Dr. Moriarty, who is a main evil bad guy of Sherlock Holmes throughout many of his mysteries. And Jared Harris plays this character to the T and is so awesome as this character. I absolutely loved him, and I thought he just did a fantastic job of portraying this character. I think that everything he did and as Moriarty, he just was so perfect and evil at the character and just portrayed the role so awesomely. I really enjoyed him as the main bad guy character in the film, and I thought that he interacted with everyone so well and so awesomely. Definitely, if you haven't seen Sherlock Holmes Game of the Shadows, definitely check it out, people. It's such a great film. Can't wait for the third one to come out. Hopefully Jared Harris comes back as Dr. Moriarty. And he was so superb. His intellect, his lines, his performance, he just portrayed that evil so well in the film. Really great performance, and can't wait to see more from Jared Harris because he's just a really awesome actor, and I really enjoy him in the film. Now, when it comes to his character in The Ward, it wasn't a super huge part, but at the same time, he played the psychiatrist so awesomely. I really enjoyed him. I loved where he took the psychiatrist. I love how he kind of, at the end of the film, he explains what's going on and how he just was really well done playing the character, too, as well. He really brought a great presence to the character and interacted with everyone really well, too. And just was really fun in the film. Like I said, it wasn't a huge part, but still at the same time, it was a really well done performance. And I really enjoyed it. I think that he was just really, perfected the performance and just gave us a really fun character. Really enjoyed him in it. If you like Jared Harris, definitely check out The Ward. It's worth the watch for checking out his performance. He was really awesome in it. So if you're not familiar with what The Ward is about, or John Carpenter's The Ward is about, basically the premise of the film is it's set back in 1966, and the movie begins where Amber Heard's character is being basically taken to a psychiatric ward, and basically the premise of the movie, rest of the movie is her trying to figure out why she's there, who she really is. She thinks that her name is this name, and she's trying to figure out why she's there and how to get out, basically. And that's pretty much the premise of the movie, and basically her interactions with everyone that's in the psych ward as well. A really fantastic psychological thriller, a little bit of supernatural element to it that you end up finding out about at the end, how it really is, and all the just great stuff. Really well done film, really well done by John Carpenter. Amazing fun film. I really enjoyed it. Very glad that my great subscribers suggested it for me to check out. Definitely will be adding to my collection eventually. It's a really fun film. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, definitely check out The Word, people. It's a worth the watch. Great fun. Will keep you guessing from beginning to end. Really awesome film. So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. And also, thank you for subscribing. And if it's your first time here, if you've been here before and you haven't hit that subscribe button, what are you waiting for? A grand invitation? Come on, people. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss this awesome video or any of the awesome videos I put up. As always, people, keep your eyes out for any older, newer videos you might not have seen mine yet. And as always, people, check out the awesome Stardust app where you can watch 3 to 30 second little mini reviews of TV shows and trailers and movies and anything your heart desires, where awesome new contests and awesome polls are being added all the time. So that's something that interests you. It's download it for free from your respective Play Store. Look for me under the Cybernetic 13. Follow me, and I'll follow you back. And as always, people, catch you in the next one.